Wow, what a year! We have climbed the highest peak of Spain in February and of Iceland in July. We have felt on our skin the sand of the Sahara and the winds of Greenland. We both reached the southernmost point of the planet, Edith broke her altitude record on Teide, and for me, Iceland was the 31st visited country. In January, we started our training to climb the mountain with the highest shadow on Earth. After arriving in Tenerife, we have climbed successfully the third highest peak of the island, then failed the next day on Pico Viejo. On our descent from here, we made first-hand contact with the scree from hell. After the two strenuous hikes, we have rested for one day and visited the amazing rocks of Los Gigantes. The next day, without using the cable car, tortured by the altitude, the round trip to Teide took us 12 hours. The next day we discovered the hidden gem of the island, but we left climbing Roc de Taborno for another time. Of course, we didn't return home before driving on the Masca road. In March we climbed on cables in a storm to Peak Data and also visited the mysterious Hoia Baciu forest. In April I've tried out the Via Ferrata route in the wilderness of the Touraine Gorge, and we have discovered a small village in horrific surroundings not too far away from the city of Cluj-Napoca. At the Jocaimor Memorial Hike, I've started to climb Piatra Secoiulu in the opposite direction of the participants, and I've also got involved in a rescue operation. In June it was time for the biggest trip of 2019. In 2.5 weeks in Iceland, we have accumulated experiences enough for several years. I will enumerate just a selection of those. In spite of strong winds, we have admired the Kolugihur Canyon and the Huitserkür Rock on the black sandy beach. I'm not a big fan of beaches to say the least, but even I have enjoyed the pool in Hofsós. In the westernmost point of Iceland, we have felt at the end of the world. At Lautrabjarg, we've even posed with puffin birds. Dynjandi waterfalls are perhaps the most beautiful in the country, but the view from Valafjall mountain towards Greenland is also worth mentioning. Here we were both weeping because of the freezing winds, and we've returned to the car sprinting. We haven't missed the northernmost glacier in Iceland either. We were also not feeling hot at Drangeyjukut. The ascent of Hvannadalshnjúkur was our most difficult hike together. After a few hours of sleep, we started a 14.5-hour forced march. After a long sleep, limping from soreness, the next day we visited a magical canyon and the biggest lava field in the world. We couldn't miss the geyser, or the huge Gullfoss waterfall. In the never-ending sunset of Iceland, we went behind Seljalandsfoss around midnight, but the next day the Gljufrabúi waterfall was perhaps an even more unique experience. We couldn't miss the well-known Skogafoss, the plane wreck on the beach, and Reynisfjara beach, notorious because of the unpredictable waves. For Game of Thrones fans, Svartifoss is a must, and at the Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, in Edith's words, we took pictures with the ice. The Stydlagil Basalt Canyon is maybe the most spectacular in Iceland, but let's not forget the second most powerful waterfall in Europe. We haven't missed the famous whale watching in Húsavík, and in the end we still had time for the fearful Rödfjallskja Canyon and the most photographed mountain in Iceland, Kirkjufell. In August we've hunted for falling stars, and I've climbed for the first time Peak Suru and Chortja in Fögöras mountains. In September, it was my first time on Piatra Mika Peak, where I took with myself the Transylvanian hiker logo as well. From October, a brutally busy period started for both of us, so we made a single short walk in the last quarter. So what's next in 2020? We'll get back to activities soon with fresh forces, and in February we travel to a green island in the middle of the Atlantic. Stay with us this year too.